Okay, Candice here again from Come Pour With Me on the pouring part of the flick and spin. Now then, I told you in one of the other videos how to adjust and adapt a basic spinner for larger pieces. And so if you want to go to that video, that's great. I've listed it in the descriptions. I've tried to put as much information in the descriptions as possible. The paints, just to recap, that I'm going to be using are Montmartre Signature acrylic paints. These, obviously, I go through a lot, so I buy the larger ones. I actually think if you can afford to get a few of the larger ones, it's much more cheaper than the smaller ones, and they're mixed with the Floetrol. I hope that's around the right way and not reverse for you guys. So that's the Australian Floetrol. I'm just letting the dog back in. All right, and that's what I've mixed. Again, there was a video on the paints that you can use and different pouring mediums. Don't go to cheap craft paints, all right? Well, I prefer not to myself. So it's not, I can't sort of, force any more suggest, I can suggest, but yeah, we're not going to go there. So how I've mixed the paints, to what consistency. All right, so I'm hoping that you'll be able to see with this color how it's consistent. It's not a thin paint. It's not a thick paint. It's a very soft mound, that disappears probably within a few seconds. It's a nice stream. All right, so I'm hoping that you can actually see that. All right, the Australian Floetrol you wouldn't use as much to dilute as the American, because the Americans want a lot thicker. But however you want to test, you can do a little 8 and see how long the trace lasts. I can still see it. I can still see it. It's still sort of evident there. So the trace doesn't quite completely disappear. All right, but it's not a real, I wouldn't class that a mound on a mound. I'd class that as a bit of a, I better not say it because it gets rude. All right, so I don't know. I just hope that you can see. All right. Okay. I'm trying to, it's not the easiest of things. Trying to see. When you do your testing, don't hold your stick right up here, because you're going to get a totally different reading. So about, a couple of centimeters off from the actual paint, top of the paint. All right, now, if you couldn't see that, I might even do up a little drip test with some paper and a measurement so you can see how long it takes to go over that particular distance. All right, the thing is, that's a gauge. And sometimes you might find that you have to thin it out a little bit, especially if you're doing a bigger area, because the paint's got to get out before it starts to tacky and dry. All right, where's my tissues? Every paint sort of reacts a little bit differently. Paints that are just mixed with water flow a little bit differently than those mixed with... Okay, back from the break, which you won't know there's been a break, but I had to go and pick up a delivery. So let's go. I mentioned about the paints. Yeah, I'm going to use this colour. Just make sure I don't get any little bits that are falling in. So, as I mentioned, And I'm using a tile. Now you can practice on even just core flute, like I showed you what the back board of this is. Yeah, all right, so I'm just putting a nice amount of paint. These paints were all mixed some time ago, so bubbles aren't really an issue. I find it's, you know, if you can have paint that you've mixed previously rather than on the day. And with your paints, if you do put them into containers, one tip, instead of shaking them up before you use them, all right, if you put a decent sized marble in and let it just stir around or roll it so that the marble sort of stirs the paint back up, and you're not introducing a lot more bubbles again. All right, so we'll leave that as that. Your option is do the puddle, or you can actually do the whole thing. I'll show you with it just doing a puddle on there. The paint's going to start flowing anyway. All right. Now then, so the colours that I've got are magenta, and like I said, they're all Montmartre. I've used an aqua green. I've got a phthalo blue. I hope you can see that it's not too dark. I'm seeing a lot of shadow on the colours. A light green. Maybe I should do it that way. Light green. Yeah, because I've got the light on this side. All right. And I've got a gold and white. So let's start. I like what white does when you put it down first. So like I said, we're doing a puddle that's probably between a 20 and a 50-cent piece, or I'm not sure what any coin is over in America, what you would classify, but it's probably maybe for this size a little bit over an inch maybe in diameter, an inch and a quarter for you guys, or I don't know, 3 centimeters for us. Okay, and let me see. I'm just trying to figure out some of my colours. All right, so I've got a light colour. Let's go for the magenta. And the thing is, the reason why you don't need to put a huge whack of paint down is look how the scent is expanding the more colour you put down. All right, and the blue. And green. Okay, and a little bit of metallic, because metallics do help create lacing. A little, what's it in this? Let's see if it'll squeeze out. Be mindful with your metallics, that's not going to come out. It's got a little, what's it in the centre? Let's get a little toothpick. Okay, all right. Now, I've got my backboard up here, just to, okay. And the thing is, like I said, with your puddles, yeah, this one's actually going over. That doesn't really matter, but I just want to make sure it's not too far over one side. So what we do is it's easier without the glove, so I might just take that glove off to get your flick on the thing. And so I use my long index, not my index finger, my long finger and thumb, and I come in like on a side and try and be aware of my fingers in here. Now, if you're not sure about flicking, you can get a little test thing, and you're wanting to sort of hit the paint. Sorry, hit the paint so it flicks like that. It sort of flops and flicks. You don't want to go down really heavy, but if you do, it's not a major issue. The paint should sink back in, and you know, everyone stuffs up with flicks, but you don't have to worry. So I sort of go to the corners, right, and I try and hit the gold, not at the beginning of the gold, but sort of like from its center out, where I'm directing my aim. And I hope you can see this. Amazing. Now then, so then I move it around a little bit, okay? And I come and aim in another direction. If you stuff up and don't go out very far, you can come back and just gently flick. Okay, so let's try again, see if I get this one good. Oh yeah, that was a big one. It doesn't matter. You need all different strengths or lengths of the paint being flicked over. So it's not all uniform. Mind you, it is not easy to get this completely uniform. But anyway, all right, so I'm coming over here and try and aim over that corner, but really I'm not that worried. I did a bit bigger one because I'm actually a bit lopsided with this, and I do want to get that paint out. All right, and I did have plenty of paint. Maybe I don't need quite so much of a puddle under there, but like I said, everyone likes to work with different consistencies and paint on their surface and what have you. So, okay, I'm going to come. I went over that way a bit, so I might just come this side. Oh yeah. Oh, I like that one. I like that one. It was quite heavy, but I like that one. And we'll just see and hope that because that really went down through the colours and brought up the white and the aqua up through, so that it's breaking up these denser areas. So that was really, really cool. And what you can do if you think, oh, I'm not really liking, want a little bit more paint through there, you can attempt to come through and maybe a light flick again, but you don't want to overgo it. You don't want to be, all right, so let's just see if we can, oh yes, all right. Okie dokie. Now, I did say to everyone that if there's any little bits of paint that have come out that you don't like, you just dab your finger in to remove them, okay, if you don't like them. Some people do like all that. I love that little one, so I might try and keep that there. Is there any others that... that are a bit, I mean, everyone will be saying, yeah, go for it. No. So, yeah. And with this, you can, if you're not liking the center, you can just dab it. Or, as I had shown in my equipments, if this is really annoying you, you can always come in and dab gently the center and gently go down and gently lift up, and that should sort of arrange the paint into this more diamondy or starry type of pattern. This one's got no water in it. This one has. So, but I don't mind my centers on there, and you know, I don't know whether or not to actually go any further. But yeah, I think we'll just go on with the spinning and see how that goes. Oh, it'd be lovely to get advice whether or not to keep going or not. Should I try for another one? Oh, why not? It's only practice and play. So, okay. Again, more colours are in. And what I try to emphasise is, oh, that's nice. With your colours, the amount of colours to put on. I only used the base and 4 other colours. One of them was white, white, magenta, the light green, blue, and a metallic. Okay. You don't need much because of all the hues that you get. And when you don't use as much, you're able to see all of the colours. The colours are more vibrant. I'm not sure if I like this part, but you can come in and just take it out or reassign it in another direction if you want. Yeah, it's all right. So that's that part of it. I'm going to have to just check in case there is any air bubbles. You can just go over it with your torch if you want. Just get a torch. You're more likely to get more, some cell formation in areas if you, but now people might say, can I put silicone in it? Can I do this? Can I do that? I say, have a try and see what happens. I don't know if you need silicone in it. That little one's coming out there a bit strange. All right, okay. I'm just going to change around, so bear with me, my spinning cover, which is, as I mentioned, on my equipment. This one's just on a doggy pool. Let's hope I don't brush anything as I try and put it here to just give a little bit of protection. I've got to make sure it'll go around. Right. So gently does it, guys. And at this stage, that's quite slow, but let's just see. The paint's starting to fall off. All right. There's a lot of paint on this. Okay. And it's already, it will change, your centers will change. Okay. The other way. As I said, there's quite a lot of paint on this. Why am I spinning instead of tilting? The spinning does centrifugal force, so it will come out from the center if you don't already know that. So tilting, yeah, you'll get a stretching in different ways. So I don't do the tilting, but there's nothing to stop anyone from having a try. Now, I probably could. Now, saying that I don't do the tilting, no, I don't want to tilt that back the other way. I'm just going to see how much paint is left on there. Guys, that's fine. There is not a whole lot of paint. I'm surprised there's not that much on there, but that is actually fine. Findy. And if you thought, oh no, I'd like to tilt a little, spin a bit more, again, your prerogative, okay? If you want to do some embellishing, again, guys, your prerogative, all right? You might not like a solid line here, all right? So I even think maybe you could try blowing with your mouth if you want to, or, you know, getting your little skewer and trying to just rake up the edge if you want. You know, it's completely your creation. But that is the flick and spin in a nutshell. And yes, it's, I'll take the tape off shortly. I'm not sure if I'm actually keeping this one because it is more for you guys. I'll show you what the balloon does, all right, and see, so that just so that you know, this is one just a little heavy one with some water in it. Okay, gently does it and gently up. Okay, so there is a little bit of a bubble there, but it will go down. Now, personally, you might like that, you might not. So, you know, if you think, oh, that's just completely changed it where I don't want, just see if you can get your finger and gently press on where it was solid and bring it out, just to bring back some more of the solid bank of colour, all right? So again here, you can, all right, it's playtime, I keep telling people. All right. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Yes, give me any questions that you want and I will get back to you. One final thing that I would like to mention, that, like I said, this is my first sort of time videoing, and if I'm not in this to raise a lot of money, but if you have found this video helpful to you and you've enjoyed it, and as a way of showing your appreciation, I've actually included just a little PayPal donation, so that as all of you artists out there know that do this for yourselves, for YouTube, whatever, there's a lot of expense that goes on, and for just recouping your materials and things like that, everything sort of helps. But you know, it could be $1, you know, appreciation dollar or anything like that. I'm not asking for anything astronomical, but that's if you appreciate it. Thumbs up is good too, and sharing would be fantastic. So thank you, and yeah, comments are more than appreciated. Bye for now, guys, and happy powering and flick and spinning and whatever you want to do. All right, cheers.